Good morning, my beautiful friends. This is your wake up call with Maui Paul. I am Maui Paul. We are here today to say some nice things about ourselves. I got quite the crowd here this morning. Good morning, everybody. It's wonderful to see you. Good morning, Janet. Good morning, Lauren. Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amanda. Good morning, Shauna. Yeah, it is indeed a fantastic morning to be here, and I do appreciate you guys coming by and just showing up and supporting this broadcast. Y'all are amazing. Anyways, we're going to do the same thing we do every morning. I have pulled a card off of my deck, and I'm going to ask you if you are the affirmation on the card. We're going to respond out loud together. I am that affirmation, and as we do that, we are building into our own lives. The fact is that I've been doing this for, oh man, going on 2 years now, and the changes that have happened inside of me, the emotional regulation that's happened, and the just the way that I approach life completely differently, has been astounding for me to watch. This is just one of the most powerful practices I've ever done, and I'm just so grateful that you guys choose to join me in it. So let's have some fun today. Let's manifest some change in our own lives by really affirming our own good qualities, by recognizing them, by understanding that these positive and empowering words that we say about ourselves are true, and that we can see them when we take the smallest amount of time to look around. So now let's pull a card off the top of the deck and say that today I am determined. I am determined. I move intentionally toward my dreams. So I am determined. I move intentionally toward my dreams. Are you determined? You are determined. You move intentionally toward your dreams. I'm going to write that down in the comments. I am determined. I move intentionally toward my dreams. This is actually one of the classic cards that I made. It was fun to see this one come up because this has been a time in my life where I've been very much refocusing on the things that are most important to me. And as I do that, I was looking at a lot of work that I've done in the past, and just kind of like seeing things that I had put together, things that I had accomplished, and and just realizing that I have a lot of assets to bring to bear on on accomplishing the things that are important to me. And when I look at it, I realize that I really have been very intentional about it. All the investments that I've made, and the time that I've spent, and the things that I've created are all very much moving me forward in the same direction. And when I made up the determined card, of course, one of my first thoughts was about the story of the little engine that could, the story of that the little engine going open over the mountain pass, which is why I chose this steam engine to symbolize it. But I didn't just want a steam engine. I actually wanted a steam engine on a trestle, which is I was fortunate to be able to find a picture of it. The fact is that this train is on a track, and more so than just being on a track, this train is on a track, and which is on a bridge, which to me symbolizes that as we are moving in the direction of our dreams, that our paths are inevitable. When we choose to be determined about where we're going, our destination becomes inevitable. We cannot help but get there if we get there a little bit at a time, and the only thing that can stop us is our own giving up. So I am determined. I move intentionally toward my dreams. When I was a kid, I had this Calvin Coolidge quote on my wall that said, "Nothing can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than an unsuccessful man with talent. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent." And of course, as a kid, those are a lot of big words. I looked them all up in the dictionary trying to find out like what those things actually meant. And it was a very powerful exercise for me to do that, because even as a kid, I recognized that determination is simply deciding where we are, where we are going. It's picking a goal, sticking with that goal, moving in the same direction over and over and over again. And that's determination. It's saying, hey, here's the destination. And as we choose a destination, then the steps to get to that destination become more clear. It whenever I'm floundering in my own life, it's often because I realize I've lost focus on what my destination is. So the fact is that being determined is all about having an understanding of where we are going and what we are doing. And so perhaps you found the same thing to be true in your life. Perhaps you found that when you kind of forget about where you're going and you don't think about it, or you've just kind of lost focus on it, that the way forward becomes a lot less clear. But when we are determined, when we know exactly where we're going, when we know what we're doing, the way forward is as obvious as the train tracks that this train rides upon. And what is persistence except the vehicle that we use to get to where we have purpose to go, to where we have determined to go. Persistence is just doing a little bit every day. It's just about having no 0 days. A 0 day is when we don't do anything at all to move in the direction that we want to go, the direction that's important to us. So after we've determined what's important to us, it's very important that we always be moving in that direction. Maybe not a lot, maybe not gigantic strides, but just a little bit, just to always consistently incline ourselves in that direction. It's not about getting it all done at once. It's about getting it done a little bit at a time. And as we get it done a little bit at a time, the way forward is made more clear to us. It's like if we were to try to drive across the country at night. We can drive across the country at night in the pitch black of night using only the light of our headlights. But our headlights don't shine all the way across the country. Our headlights shine 100 yards into the future. Our headlights show us the path forward, but not the whole path forward. But by the time that we get there, by the time that we get to the place that our headlights have run out, our headlights are illuminating a new place. And that's what persistence is. Persistence is when we realize that we don't need to know the complete path before we start walking the path. We simply need to know what our destination is. I remember that when I did a motorcycle trip down through Central America, and about in Louisiana. So I went from Pennsylvania down to Costa Rica, which involves going down through Mexico and Guatemala, Belize, El Salvador, Nicaragua, etc. A couple other different countries. But I recall that as I did that, I didn't really know exactly how I was going to make it down there. I knew that my destination was south. And from looking at a globe, I knew that the way that the continent was shaped, that I couldn't help but get there, as long as I just kept on going south. Well, I was riding through Louisiana on my motorcycle, and I stopped by the hotel at that night to get a good night's sleep, and I loaded up my computer, and my computer was completely broken, completely destroyed. It would not turn on, and it wouldn't turn on from all the shaking and rattling, and it just couldn't handle that amount of time on the road. And that was very concerning to me because I had my route planned out. I had all of the information about the border crossings on that computer. I had all the information that I needed in order to make a fairly well planned trip down south. About an 8,000 mile trip on a motorcycle was all on that computer, and that computer was not working. Well, I took the computer over to the Apple store because it was a Mac. I took it over to the Apple store, and I actually opened it up in the hotel room, and I saw exactly what part was broken. Took it down to the Mac store, and I said, hey, my computer's broken now, and I'm on the road, and I need this fixed. And that after they got finished laughing at me and saying that'll be 6 months to get that part in, they told me, hey, that this will be 6 months and $400 to fix this little 3 5-cent part that was in there. And I was pretty bummed about it. And I was like, well, I don't have that kind of time, nor do I have that kind of money to fix this little part that I know I can get from the Apple store for, or that I can get from some electronic supply warehouse. It was just a little connector that connected the hard drive. So I recognized that I could get this for a lot cheaper than the couple $100 they were quoting me. But also, primarily, I didn't have 6 weeks to 8 weeks to wait for this computer. And so I was like, well, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to just replan the trip? And instead, I made the decision that I was just going to continue the trip. That rather than operating with my GPS and all of my planned routes and all of the stuff that I had done, that I was just going to mount a compass on my handlebars and start riding south. And I did. I mounted a compass on my handlebars and I started to ride south. And of course, that was not nearly as not nearly as well planned out as my original intention, my original plan. But of course, I still got down to Costa Rica and ended up living there for another 5 years or so. But the fact is that I didn't know anything. I went into this blind. I went into this experience. I crossed over the Mexican border without any of my comprehensive notes. And rather than just referencing all those notes, I just started asking people questions. And the way forward was illuminated for me as I got there. And I took a real lesson in that, because I had spent probably 2 or 3 months planning this trip that was going to take another 2 or 3 months to get accomplished. And then ultimately I was able to get the trip done and had a heck of a lot more adventures because I wasn't being held to this plan that I thought that I had to do. And the fact is that of course there were lots and lots of things that went wrong, lots of things where I got sidetracked, many places where there were detours, or the roads were out, or the bridges were out, or whatever. And I just had to figure it out and find my way around them in order to continue, pointing that compass needle south. And so eventually I did make it to Costa Rica. When by the time I got into that country, I knew all the roads, I knew where I was going. And the Costa Rican part of my adventure was probably the least exciting, the least memorable, because, well, I already knew where I was and I knew how to get over to my house, and I knew where, I just knew it all. So I recognized that it was actually the fact that I didn't know that my plan had a complete monkey wrench thrown into it. That's what made the trip so exciting. That's what made the trip so interesting. And so I am determined, and I recognize I am determined, and that I move intentionally toward my dreams. And so are you. You're a determined person too. You also move intentionally toward your dreams. When you look back at your life, recognize that the decisions that you've made, the choices that you've made, have been the best ones that you've known how to make with the amount of information that you had, based on the mental paradigms that you had at the time that you made the choice. And that as you have moved forward in your own life, that the most important things in your life have always bubbled up again and again and again. And even when we lose focus, because we do lose focus sometimes, but even when we lose focus, that understanding how to move forward is a very simple exercise and refocusing on what is most important. And so let's move intentionally toward our dreams today. Maybe not a lot. Maybe we're not making gigantic strides. Maybe we're just doing little things. Maybe we're just doing tiny things. Maybe we only have 5 minutes in our busy, busy day to do the things that are most important to us. It is vitally important that we do them. It is vitally important that we move in that direction, because as we incline our faces in the direction of the most important things to us, the path forward becomes illuminated. So let's do that today, and let's trust ourselves. Let's trust our abilities. Let's trust that when we make a choice, that the universe itself conspires, that all things work together for our good. That when we make a choice, that when we decide what direction that we are going, that everything, and I do mean everything in life, begins to align in that direction. But we have to set our face in that direction. We have to decide what that direction is. We have to say, this is the way that I'm going, and I'm not going to let anything stop me. And I don't have to do it all at once. You don't have to do it all at once. Be easy on yourself. It's okay. It's okay that you're not there right now. It's fine. The fact is that as we move forward each and every day, and in the direction of the things that are most important to us, as we move intentionally toward our dreams, in the direction of the things which bring us the most fulfillment, that the path forward is made clear. So let's be determined today. This card is our wake-up call. This card is our permission slip to set ourselves up for success, to do just the tiniest little thing today. And we might find, I mean, you might find, as I find almost every day when I do this, that even though I might not have a lot of time to accomplish the things that are most important to me, that the amount of impact it has on my life is outsized. The amount of joy, the amount of happiness that I get out of that is far in excess of the amount of time that it takes me to accomplish the thing. Even if I only spend 5 or 10 minutes on something, those 5 or 10 minutes are life giving in my day, and they will be life giving in yours too. So decide what it is that you are going toward, and then move toward that a little bit every day. Because as we do that, this whole world is reshaped in our image. This entire world is reshaped in accordance with our values. And then the world that you are in tomorrow, the life that you are living tomorrow, is one that is 10 minutes more congruent than the one that you were living yesterday. We are determined people. We move intentionally toward our dreams. So let's move intentionally toward them today. Thank you guys so much for being here. It is always a pleasure to just let this stuff flow out and to really revisit. The fact is that that this broadcast itself is me moving intentionally toward my dreams, being intentional, being determined and persistent each and every day. And yesterday I mentioned that I really didn't even want to get out of bed to do this. Today, when I woke up, I thought to myself, man, today I'm fortunate. I get to do a wake up call. Today I'm fortunate. I get to have as much fun today as I did yesterday. And rather than being groggy and getting out of bed and not wanting to do the wake up call, I jumped out of bed because I was excited about it. So we are determined. I am determined. You are determined. We move intentionally toward our dreams today. Oh man, I see you guys have been you guys have been blowing up the comments. So let's just see what y'all have to say. It looks like Shauna says she's determined like Thomas the Train. That's not Thomas the Tank Engine. Maybe it is. I don't know the name of that tank engine. I do know that a lot of steam engines have names though. Yeah, Dan says he's determined to get back to our lives in Atlanta, probably in April. I'm excited to have you here, and I know that what you're doing is difficult work, Dan. I know that you and Stacy are over in Omaha, and that it is, it's not easy stuff that you're doing. But I'm grateful that you are doing it. I'm grateful that you're getting it done, so that you can come back to Atlanta, so you can get back to your lives, so that you can get back to your grandkids, so that you can get back to all the things that are most important to you. And it just takes a little bit at a time. You've got a huge job ahead of you. And I know that every day you move forward on it. Armando, good morning, Armando. Armando says, I'm determined to create a new reality while keeping the happiness as the core of life. Amen to that, brother. Yeah. And indeed you are. Like I watch you grow, Armando. I watch you change and evolve. And I know that, I'm just continuing to just sort of watch the stuff that you're doing, watch what you're putting out, and to know that you are indeed going to accomplish your goal. Lauren says, I remember starting this wake-up call with you from the beginning and appreciate your determination. I'm sure it helped you as much as it helped me. Yeah, it really has, Lauren. It really has. I've been at this for almost 2 years now. And, while I have always struggled to get out of bed in the morning, I wake up in the morning and the first thing that I want to do is just remain in bed for the rest of the day. And when I have a job or when I have some other external responsibility to take care of course I jump out of bed and I go do it. But I don't. But when I don't have that external responsibility to get out of bed in the morning, as I don't right now, I would prefer to just sleep until 2 p.m. I really would. And so this gets me out of bed and doing the things that are most important to me. And more importantly, it aligns me right now with the things that are most important. So this broadcast is tremendously valuable for me. And I'm glad that it's valuable for you too. And the fact is that, about 10 to 15 people watch it live every morning. And by the end of the day, by the time this video has fallen into the bowels of the internet, only to be found if it is searched for, about 200 people have seen it. I don't even know who half of these people are, although folks will sometimes stop me on the street and say, hey, thank you so much. I love the wake-up call this morning. And I had no idea they even watched it. So it has an outsized impact far beyond you, far beyond me. And I'm so grateful for it. What fun it is, what an honor it is, and a responsibility to be the focal point of so many people's day. Yeah. Jan says, I'm determined to live my life with the most authenticity possible. Yep, absolutely, absolutely, Jan. That's exactly how it is. We are authentic people as well, and of course, authenticity is a superpower. Good morning, Will. Good to see you here. Good morning. Let's see here. Good morning, Amanda. Good morning, Sylvia. Nice to see you over here today. You are definitely a determined person. You're a person very much on the same life path as I am. Out there encouraging people to be their best self, to live their best selves. I know that you are, and I really appreciate that you are doing that. Let's see here. Good morning, Eric. Good to see that you have arrived here today. Yeah. So, anyways, guys, we are determined people. And today I'm determined, you are determined. So let us, with persistence and determination, move intentionally toward our dreams. That's how we get them done. And this card is our permission slip to do exactly that. I will be back. I will be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. We'll have another wake up call. So until then, just want to remind you that you can do this, that you have got this, that you are smarter and wiser and more intelligent and more experienced than you have ever been, and that this day is yours, so own it. You are determined today. I love you. I believe in you. I know that you can do this, and I will talk to you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Until then, aloha from paradise.